Hey everyone, Captain Amazing here, and today I want to talk about how to remod in an account. So let's jump into it. So lately I've been doing the mod workshop where I go and I remod someone's account, and I wanted to talk a little about my thought processes while I'm doing that so that players can start doing that at home with their own accounts if they wanted to. So pretty much the first thing I look at is GLs. Like I do think galactic legends are the most important characters in an account, and there are characters that enable galactic legends, there's characters that counter galactic legends, and then there's just characters that are really important for ships. So there's a lot of factors in how you should mod your accounts and where you should put your priorities. But I'm a firm believer that galactic legends should get your resources first because they are the strongest characters in the game, and they are useful in every single game mode, where a character like Starkiller can be very useful in Grand Arena if you have his Omicrons, can be very useful in TW if you have Johanni's Omicron. But outside of that, he is not very good. Like I use him as filler in TB, and that's pretty much it, and I never use them in Conquest. So they're galactic legends, though I use them in every single game mode: Conquest, TB, TW, Grand Arena. If even galactic challenges, like if there's a game mode where they can participate in it, then they will obviously be the best characters in that. So first thing I do is I go through them and I try to manage their mods, and even they're not all built equal and they all don't want to be modded the same. So SLKR and JMK, they do want the same modding, believe it or not, exactly the same primaries, exactly the same sets. Usually they want a health set and a speed set, they want a crit damage triangle, they want an offense cross, they want a health circle, and a speed arrow. And then of course these, they want the same stats. They want survivability, they want offense, they want as much speed as you can get. You should also use SWGOH.gg to find the primaries and sets for what you want. As you start playing more and you understand kits, you can kind of change them. And there are some sets that I find interchangeable because I don't really farm crit damage sets, and there are some characters that I have that have crit damage sets. Like some notable ones: Eighth Brother, Han Solo. I think my Boba Fett and my Jedi Knight Anakin all have crit damage sets, but there's some characters who prefer crit damage sets, but I have offense sets on them because that's all I have. Like I have a ton of offense because I farm offense mods, and that works out just fine. So if you have something like defensive sets and health sets, unless the kit has health, unless they have some sort of reason for having health, like Leia, I would never put a defensive set on her. I would have health because you want her to have as much health as possible because she deals damage. Some of her abilities are based off damage on her health. If a character has a lot of protection up mechanics, you want health, not defense. Or something like Padme, or Wampa, so things like that. So there are some things that can't be changed, but there are some things that can be changed, and that's where you get a little bit of flexibility, and where SWGOH can help point you towards those. But you shouldn't use it as like the end all be all. I have to give the worst crappy mods I have because that's like what it requires. So like this, I think Sabine wants a crit chance, crit damage set, but I have a offense and a health set on her, and it works out just fine. So there's some variance on what you can get of what is perfect and ideal, but you can also try to just find something that works with you, because I generally farm a lot more offense sets and health sets and speed sets, so that's where a lot of my mods are. And I try to still buy mods that are like crit damage, crit chance, potency, tenacity mods out of the shop, but sometimes I just have to have a base, so you can be a little flexible with that as well. Another good example is Captain Drogon. So he does want crit chance as a primary, but I don't have a lot of crit chance mods, so I use a health one. for more survivability. Like, he's still modded fine, he has decent damage, he has decent stats, speed, survivability, damage, but you just have to be flexible. So back to the GLs though. So you prioritize your GLs with which ones are most important to you, which ones are like key. If you have like an R9 JML, that's key for modding. And then Ray is also really important for modding. Jabba, believe it or not as important. Like, you do want some tenacity, some health, some speed on there, but you want to prioritize the GLs first. Next, I start going towards what are my fastest characters I need on my account. Like, what are the characters that just need an incredible amount of speed to work? So I like Commander Ahsoka Tano. I use her right now with the Plokron to kill the other, like, to do mini ult, and then I'll Ahsoka killed the enemy Ahsoka, so that before she can take a turn, so you try to keep her stunned. So her speed is actually pretty important right now. You can do it with the slower Ahsoka, it doesn't matter. It's not like the old crons where you pretty much needed the faster Ahsoka and then you killed their Ahsoka. Like, that's not really the case anymore. There's like tank revive crons, there's a lot of mechanics in here where it's not as important, but I still think it's very, very useful, and the counters that you're using for JMK can lose, so I think having a nice fast cat can help you with winning. Bush Leia, I think, is important to mod fast as well, so I have mine modded pretty quickly because Jabba goes first, right? Like, usually whatever you go with, like if you're using SWGOH will probably go first, then Jabba, then you want Bush to go second. And if you get enough damage out there and you have enough luck or enough bombs that drop, then sometimes Bush can just like kill a lot of the ads or kill a lot of the characters, so you don't have to worry about it because she is the sword of the team. So characters like Krex, Radis, Revan, Mara Jade. And then as far as when you go in and you actually start remodding these characters, so you do want to look at overall stats. So sometimes if you look at someone who uses like hot utils, you'll see crazy kind of mismatched sets where you don't have any sets, but they have really decent overall stats, and that's because hot utils uses like AI to min-max those things. But like if you're going and you're remodding by hand, generally there's some characters that just like it does matter what their primaries are, and you want them to be correct. So things like GLs don't want mismatched sets. Like, GLs are so stat hungry that you want to ensure that you're maximizing every single stat. You're maximizing the secondary stats. Even these 6 dot speed arrows, I still try to maximize them so that you can get as much stats as possible. Like, see here, like I have potency, health, and protection here. All those are good stats he wants. Maybe one day I'll change this to a protection arrow so I can get some more protection here, but I do value speed as well. So you have to look at the overall stats of the character, and there's some characters that you just can't be flexible with their stats, and there's some characters that you can be flexible with, like Piet doesn't care about his stats, he just wants speed. Darth Revan, doesn't matter, you give him damage, that's great, you give him survivability, awesome as well, as long as he's fast. Like, he's gonna hit hard, especially if you have him at relic 9. He's gonna do the job you want him to do. I have mine kind of modded for speed here with 174, and then not really damage, he's just kind of like survivability, I guess, and just speed. So characters that do matter are things like Captain Rex. You want potency here because if you're using him to counter Reva, then Reva starts with tenacity up because they do torture, and then you want to be able to land your days. If you don't land days, she can take turns and then she can start killing players, and then you lose. So that potency up matters. For Emperor Palpatine, if you look at him, a lot of people have potency on Emperor Palpatine on this cross, and actually he wants protection. So if you look at Emperor Palpatine, usually you want as much protection as you can on him, and then you want that Zeta for crackling which one was it? I think Crackling Doob. So that he gets plus 50% max protection, because he's the first person who dies from the ray counter usually. So there's certain things that you can be flexible with, that it really doesn't matter as long as you have them modded decently well. You can be flexible with their modding, but there's other things that you really do need to have the correct sets and the correct primaries, and that does come with experience. Like you don't want to mess around and like you want Grand Inquisitor to be fast and do a lot of damage. You want Third Sister to be survivable, but also do tons of damage. So there's things that are flexible and there's things that's not flexible, but you kind of have to play it by ear. And then when I'm looking at individual accounts, like what do I do as far as modding? Like when I go through an account and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna remod this character, how do I do it? So let's take Captain Rex here. If I was gonna remod him, I would start working here in the triangle and the cross first. So I look at my pool. I try to filter my mods. So it doesn't really matter as far as what you're looking for, but for this character, let's say I want a health set and a speed set. So I'll go health and speed here. I'll click on the triangle, because triangles I want to find first, because you do want to maximize set bonuses as much as you can. You want either 3 2 sets or 1 4 set and a 1 2 set. So if you focus on the triangle and the crosses, they have the greater variance of what their primaries are. So if you look at like a triangle and a cross, what their primaries can be is a lot. So they have health, offense, potency for the cross, crit chance for the triangle. They both have protection, crit damage for the triangle. They both have defense percent, and then the cross has tenacity. So that's a huge amount of variance here of what we're looking for, and that just like lowers the amount of specific mods that we have with the right set, with the right primary, with decent stats. So that's why for some characters, or when I mod a character, remodding, I look at the triangle and the cross first, and then I kind of work my way down and around, because triangles are usually the hardest to find what I need, and then crosses are the second hardest, and then third, believe it or not, are usually circles, and then diamonds and squares are really easy. You just have to focus on the secondary stats, and then arrows are the easiest, because you just need, usually, as long as you have a speed arrow, that speed arrow can bridge the gap of whatever the last set piece you need. So I'll go look for a triangle. Let's say for this guy, I can have health or speed, so I'll filter that, and then I'll sort by speed, and I'm looking for a crit damage, so I filtered by crit damage triangles, and then I look and I see, okay, well, this is a better one, has more speed on it. This one does have offense percent and some survivability, but this one's faster, and if all I cared about speed, I would want this one, but obviously this is on my star killer, and then it would take away from a speed set, it would be health. So then I would have to go look over here and be like, okay, well, if I take that one because I wanted it for some reason, then I need a potency cross here. And it's like, okay, well, who can I take a potency cross from that? Okay, this was health, so now this has to be speed. Luckily, I have some speed potency ones. And then if I wanted to take that triangle, then for this cross, I would probably take Old Ben's potency mod and equip it there, because it has some offense and some protection, and this is a good one. So I would care about Captain Rex more than Old Ben and Star Killer. Then I would change those and then kind of mix and match for what I need. Next, I would go to this circle and I would look, okay, so I want a health primary with Captain Rex, so I would have health here. You can, sometimes it doesn't matter if you have health or protection. Some characters are modded pretty evenly, but for this one I wanted health, so I have health here. So I'll go here and I'll say, okay, is this a good enough mod? 22 speed, some potency. I like the potency, a little bit of tenacity. Tenacity doesn't matter. Like obviously I'm not going to take Leia's mod because that's better. It has protection, potency, and speed. I'm not going to take Bush because that one's really good for Bush. It has 10.3% potency, which Captain Rex would love, and it has a ton of speed. But I care about Bush more than I care about Rex. And then if I look at here, this is a good option right here. So health, some more speed, offense, protection. I could absolutely take this one and give it to Rex because I don't care about my Imperial Troopers as much anymore. Or I can take this one. So I go through and I see like, hey, there's a lot of variants here of good mods that I can absolutely use. And I can know off the top of my head, okay, so I have an idea of the triangle I wanted. I have the cross I wanted. The circles, I have enough variants where I can go with a health or a speed set if I needed it. Let's look at these diamonds. So if I go to the diamonds, usually for diamonds, I'm looking at secondary stats. So I want something fast. So this has 27 speed. The secondary stats really suck though. So maybe I'm like, okay, I don't care about a speed. I need more potency. So if I put like potency here and I look, and then it's like, okay, look, I have this one and it's 26 speed with 10.52% potency and a little bit of offense. I'll sacrifice one speed for an additional 10% potency and offense. So I can go and assign this one. And then I'll go here, and if I had everything ready, I would just find, okay, what do I need? Obviously, I'm not going to take a GLs. And if you look at my squares, it's like, okay, I don't have as many, or okay, I had them filtered weird. But I have a lot of fast ones, but I don't have a lot of fast ones that have potency. So if I go over here and sort by potency again, if I look at my fast ones, like they're mostly on characters that I care about and their health. And as you can see here, I have 2 health sets, no real speed with potency. I have this one, but I'm not going to take it from SLKR. So, and then I'm happy with like this protection and defense, which is good. So I was like, okay, I'll leave that one. And then let's look at speed. And the speed arrow, and if I needed a new speed arrow for whatever reason, let's say I replace this one with this one here for whatever reason. If I assign that one, and it's like, okay, now I'm missing a set here. I can go, okay, I need a set. So let's go by speed, and then I need speed set, not health anymore, because now I have that. Or I'm sorry, I need a health set, not speed anymore. And then I can go and just find a mod, and I'll be like, okay, potency, protection, yeah, 12, hit well, sure, I'll equip this one. And then I could equip that one if I wanted to. So that's how I remod characters pretty much, is I focus on the triangle, then the cross, then the circle, then the diamond, then the square, then the arrow as a filler for whatever I have left. So let's revert these. And I wanted to say one more thing. So let's say I took that Star Killer mod, right? So sometimes I'll make a plan in my head of like, okay, I think I want to take these mods from this character, but it's still kind of an important character. Like Star Killer is a useful character. He's modded well. He has good damage. He has good speed. And I like how he's modded. But what if I needed this crit damage triangle? So I would still go over here and I would see, especially if I'm changing sets. So if I took this health one, and because I needed it, but then the Captain Rex had a speed one, then they're not interchangeable. I need to find a health one here. So I would go into Star Killer and I would look and see like, okay, well, he wants an offense and a health set. What offense and health sets are here where I can build a decent character? So like, obviously I'm not going to take it from Reva or Drogon or Padawan Obi-Wan or Grand Inquisitor, but it's like, okay, maybe I'll take it from Sabine, right? So this has like decent defense, offense, tenacity. Speed's not the best, but it is what it is. So I was like, okay, this is how I'll take it from Sabine. And then I would go to Sabine and I'd be like, okay, I took Star Killers. Now what I have to do here, let's go to Phoenix. and I'll go work on Sabine, and I'm like, okay, so all her mods aren't that great. She's not she doesn't have to be incredibly fast. So where can I find a filler? If I took that one, like all these characters are pretty important for me that have the 6-dot mods, except for you. Like I don't care about you. You're like 5 stars or something. So okay, speed, I would just like assign this one as a filler, and then whenever I built a new mod that would fit the requirement for this character, then I would just equip it as a placeholder. But that's how I do it. Like I go through and I prioritize my mods through my characters, focus on GLs, then key players in other teams that are usually counters or important characters like Drogon, Mara Jade, Revan, Malgus, like Star Killer, Third Sister, Padawan Obi-Wan, Captain Rex, Bush Leia, Commander Ahsoka Tano. There's also other characters that don't want to be fast but need to be modded well too. So down here, like Malgus, Darth Bane, those are characters that you want modded very well. Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. So they don't always have to be the fastest characters, but you do want to spread your mods in a way that they're good and the characters can perform at the way they want. Like Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, I would give him important mods. Jedi Knight Revan. So enablers, characters that you want to perform at the best level that they can, so that they can do what they need to do. There's some characters that just don't need it as much and their mods aren't that important. So like Kersen, he doesn't have to be crazy fast. I have mine modded for tenacity. He has a little bit of speed and a ton of protection, and he just has like really crappy mods, and that's fine. Like he does his job. So Set can have really bad mods. He is a pilot, so maybe like pilot mods on him that are just like matching, but there's characters that's just gonna do the job, and then you need to prioritize those characters that can't do the job unless they are modded very, very well. So that's my process of how I do it. It really does help if you kind of like understand kits, if you understand characters, you understand the key characters, you understand the turn orders that they have to go, you can understand what mods can be switched, or what primaries can be switched, or what sets can be switched, and all that comes with experience. And then just rule of thumb, if you go off of just like Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.gg, and that'll be the best thing if you don't understand all those things and you just need a good baseline. So that's how I do it. I will say, shameless plug, I do remod accounts in my mod workshop, and I work through and I will fix your account to my best ability, and I do that with you. I like slice mods or do whatever it is that you want that's just mod based for an account during my mod workshop. So I do enjoy it. It sometimes can take a long time, like 2-3 hours, but I do feel like that is a really good thing I can do for the community, and just showing you guys how to do it while I do it live, but also having a greater impact on those accounts that I actually go in and remod. So it's really fun for me. I do enjoy it. So other than that, that's how I remod an account. If you guys have any questions or want to know anything else about modding or my mod processes, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like on your way out, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.